Welcome back to the channel, guys. We have got the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix qualifying, the final qualifying session of the season. And yeah, I mean, what a season it has been. I mean, it's flown by very quickly indeed. We've got 100 people watching. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And yeah, I mean, don't know exactly what to say. We're coming up right to the end now, and yeah, it's a long season for some drivers for sure. I can say that, and a short season for some others. We're now 14 minutes away from qualifying beginning. I'll take you through a lap of Abu Dhabi shortly, but yeah, lots to look forward to. Looks like we're going to have at least a four-way battle for pole position, potentially six-way, depending on how Ferrari's pace reacts to the colder temperatures from FP3 to qualifying. And yeah, oh yeah, Phil, exactly. Can't believe Vettel is retiring. I mean, um that's the main thing about this weekend. Um, so I don't know exactly what to say. Obviously, Vettel's my favorite driver. So yeah, here we are. Hello, Kies. Yeah, 3 busy weeks of exams. Fair enough. Well, I mean, if they're over, then that's great, isn't it? Yeah. All right. Um, Yeah, I don't know exactly what to say. I wasn't. I was preparing to say some stuff on Vettel's final race, but where it's a bit early in the weekend to start talking about that. The drivers now just coming into their garages, getting ready to go, getting ready for quali and getting into the cars. Um, yeah, so let's talk about their performances in FP1, FP2. Well, mainly we need to talk about the FP2 performances because FP2 is the only session that's actually representative of quali because FP1 and FP3 are earlier in the day when the sun is shining, and quali and FP2 were in twilight kind of conditions. So in FP2, we had Verstappen in first place, Russell in second, Leclerc in third, Hamilton in fourth, Perez in fifth, and Sainz in sixth. So all the entire top six, all of them muddled up a bit, and yeah, the gaps were relatively close, 3 tenths, 1 tenths between the drivers and stuff. But yeah, it should be a good battle coming into today's qualifying session. We've had a couple of issues, in fact, in FP3. We had Gasly with a front right puncture due to like a part failure, and then I think it was Williams also having a part failure because once we get to the end of the season, what sort of happens to the cars is um, you've got to understand that um, throughout every single race, what happens is that they go under load and then they come out of load, go under load, come out of load. Um, all of these parts they heat up to like the race temperatures of like 80 degrees or whatever. Once they're in race conditions, cool back down again, heat back up, heat cool back down, and that puts a lot of stress on the actual components of the car. So now we are getting to the final race of the season. We could see quite a lot of failures. So yeah. Yeah, Seb for driver of the day. I mean, some people are saying vote for Nicholas Latifi, but my vote is definitely with Seb Vettel. And yeah. Yeah, so we do have a championship battle on our hands between Leclerc and Perez. So Leclerc and Perez, in fact, tied on points, both of them on 290 points in second and third place for the constructors for the drivers' championship. Sorry, and they will be going. Well, they'll be getting ready to actually go head to head and see who will end up in the higher position. So I shall just fix this map in 1 second. Where's it gone? Right. And that should do it. All right. Ooh, have I just pressed a button wrong by itself? Oh no, it's fine. There we go. All right. Oh, and also the other thing, we have constructors battles between Alpine and McLaren, they are what? How many points apart are they? 18 points apart. Alpine 18 points ahead of McLaren. It's 4 million euros worth of prize money for going up that one position. So we're definitely going to have um, well, some pretty tough battles there between Alpine and McLaren. We'll wait and see how they play out and what they do in quali. It looks to be that Alpine are slightly faster, but yeah, it's pretty close, like in terms of performance between those two. So we'll just have to see who can maximize their conditions in the race, and yeah. All right. Um, so 8 minutes now till quali begins. Sorry for the kind of all over the place commentary. I am just trying to sort something out because I totally forgot. Basically, this little news ticker at the bottom here. I forgot to set that up. So I am currently in the process of setting that up. But to be honest, I think I'm just gonna. Yeah, I think that's a sufficient news ticker. Um, at the bottom of the live stream. All right, let's just get this Abu Dhabi map centered, and then we will. Now I'll take you through a lap. Oh, that's a bit too zoomed in. There we go. All right, so the Abu Dhabi circuit, we got 16 corners here, and one interesting part of the circuit, in fact, is that we have a pit lane that goes underground because the pit lane's on the other side of turn number one, and then the pit exit is after turn number one. So the drivers have to go underneath the actual track itself to actually get out of the pits, which is quite interesting. The only one, this is the only circuit that actually has that. And yeah, the only similar sort of thing that I can remember is that the Suzuka track loops over itself. But yeah, that's completely different because there's no sort of tunnel or anything. There's a bridge on the Suzuka track. But yeah. Oh, Daniel Ricciardo. Yeah, Daniel Ricciardo does have a three-place grid penalty because of the collision with Kevin Magnussen at last week's Grand Prix. So that was, yeah, that's what Daniel Ricciardo. Not a great start to the weekend when McLaren need to outscore Alpine by 18 points, but we'll wait and see how that goes. So. Yas Marina Circuit going down the straight. This is one of the few straights. One of the few circuits where you don't have a DRS zone going down the main straight. We just have a normal main straight, no DRS. Into turn number one, it's a fourth gear corner. You just want to hit the apex and just make sure you get a good exit because turn two is flat, so is turn three, and you're basically flat out off the exit of turn number one. You're flat through 2, 3, 4, all the way to here. So it's a pretty long time that you're flat. So just a good exit out of turn number one. Turn number two, if you do get over the curbs, you can actually put your car into a spin or put it into a slide at least. So drivers have to be particularly careful, especially because we're seeing quite a bit of porpoising, especially at the start of the year. I mean, porpoising was the buzzword. Everyone was talking about it. But yeah, as the season progressed, we got less and less porpoising. And yeah, the team seemed to be able to manage it a lot better. But for some reason around this circuit, they're not managing as well as they could. We saw, I think it was McLaren, AlphaTauri, and Ferrari. All of them had porpoising issues. And Leclerc going through turn number two here got over the curb. And then the car also porpoised at the correct time. So he got a bunch of bottoming out and then ended up going into a slide. So not usually, not great really. And then into turn number three, that's pretty much flat. You don't really have to do too much attention. You don't put too much attention towards it. Same for turn number four. And then you've got turn number five, the corner that's been remodeled for last year's race. It's just a hairpin, and once again, just the main thing is to get a good exit because this is a 1.2 kilometer long straight with a pretty hefty DRS zone as well. Like it starts quite early on in the straight and ends right at the braking zone. So yeah, very long DRS zone that we've got at this circuit. So yeah, we'll be reaching speeds of I think 330 or so, and yeah, we'll wait and see if Vettel can get. We'll wait and see if Vettel can get into Q2. Pole might be a bit ambitious, but Q2 at least would be a nice, yeah. Then going through 6 and 7, it's just hit those apexes very nicely through the chicane, and overtaking is very like it's pretty good overtaking opportunity, probably the best on the entire circuit, in fact. And then once you go through turn number 6 and 7, if you haven't completed the overtake, you can either fight back against the driver who's just overtaken you, or seal the deal going to turn number 9. And yeah, turn number 9 looks slightly weird here, but it is just a full 180-degree corner, very big radius though. So the drivers go there around about 5th gear or something. So yeah, pretty big. Then we've got 10, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, all in like a sequence of corners. So if you mess up your line into turn number 10, 11, or 12, then you are very much compromising yourself going into the later parts of the track. And because you need very much of you need a very good rhythm going through there. And if you're slightly offline for one of them, that kind of the effect compounds on the future corners, and then you end up losing a lot of time throughout the entire third sector. So the drivers have to be pretty careful through there. And also the other thing is that at this point of the lap, the drivers' tires are very much overheating. So it's pretty difficult to manage those tires through there. But we'll wait and see what they can do. I mean, we've even heard of extreme situations where the drivers have backed off slightly in the first sector so they can be quick through the third sector. I mean, who knows? So that might be the way forward. We'll have to wait and see. But then through turn number 15 and 16, we've got track limits at turn number 16, turn number 1, turn number 5, and turn number 7 as well, and turn number 9. There's actually quite a lot of track limits, but most of the times the drivers aren't actually exceeding the track limits because it's not faster. But if the driver do say make a mistake and go further than track limits, then they will end up getting their lap time deleted. So we'll wait and see if any of that happens today. And yeah, the tire compounds that we have available are the C2. Oh no, sorry, the C3 for the hard, C2. Oh no, C4 for the mediums, and then C5 for the soft. So it's the softest tires that Pirelli have to offer. And yeah, we are 2 minutes away from quali beginning. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Very much appreciate all the support, and I will, yeah, hopefully you enjoy the stream. Move this along a little bit. There we go. All right. Hello, Curly Evans. The top 8 look like a rainbow, but actually, yeah, they do. I mean, we'll wait and see. That probably won't last very long, but yeah. Missing some greens. Yeah, we could do with some Aston Martins up there at the top, for sure. Alrighty. All right then, 1 minute away from quali, and let's go. Okie dokes. So let's see. We will have all of the drivers come out very, very soon, and I think well, of course, we got Daniel Ricciardo's final race for the foreseeable future. Same for Mick Schumacher, Vettel's final race. Same for Nicholas Latifi as well, and then we'll have lots of drivers switching up teams. We got Fernando Alonso going from Alpine to Aston Martin, and then we have, who else do we have? Pierre Gasly going from AlphaTauri to Alpine, and then we'll have Nick de Vries in AlphaTauri. It's lots to look forward to, and lots of new stuff going on for the new season as well. Seb should be the FIA president. I mean, who knows what will happen. We could even see Vettel maybe go for a Red Bull driver academy. We'll just have to wait and see. But here we go. Tsunoda, Gasly, and Latifi out of the pits now. Coming onto the track, let's have a look at how they're doing. Ooh. All right, we've got quite a lot of drivers out on track quite early. We've got Vettel, Albon, Tsunoda, Gasly, Stroll, Magnussen, Schumacher. Also, another thing to point out, track evolution will be pretty prominent here because we have, as the temperatures get lower, the track gets faster, of course, because there's less chance for overheating. And right now we're in the twilight phase, so the sun has just set, and yeah, the air temperatures are dropping drastically, and so will track temperatures. So they'll be dropping faster and faster. So towards the end of the session, track will be getting faster. And yeah. All right then, Latifi leading the way at the front. Behind him we have Gasly, then Tsunoda, then Vettel, then Alex Albon, Mick Schumacher, and K-Mag. All right. In fact, we could probably go on board. We could probably follow Vettel's lap. You know what? Because it is Vettel's last race, I've in fact put Danker Seb into the thumbnail because you know what? Why not? That would be great to do. Because I've had Ferraris in my thumbnails all season long. But you might as well put Seb in for the last race of the season. Seb's dad as well is in the garage. All the mechanics are cheering him along, and yeah, it must be pretty emotional. So I'll also be sure to get some radio messages from Vettel if we do get any, and I'm looking forward to donuts at the end of the Grand Prix. But here we go then. Vettel now just driving through. This is currently an out lap, so I don't know why it's saying green and purple. Well, I guess it's green and purple because it's his first lap out on track. But here he goes and starting his flying lap. Let's have a look at how he's doing compared to all of the other drivers. Nicholas Latifi, Tsunoda's got the fastest first sector, 17.6 from him. Vettel 17.7 through the first sector, and then we'll just be driving along. In fact, let's just take this off for a sec. But yeah, Latifi going 36.9. Everyone on the soft tires as expected, to be honest. No surprises there. And I think all of the top teams are just waiting for track conditions to get slightly better before they go out onto the track and waste some of their valuable tires, I'm guessing. Yeah. Okie dokes. Latifi crossed the line 1 minute 26.8. Next across the line is Pierre Gasly, 1 minute 26.3, half a second faster than him. Next up is Yuki Tsunoda, 1 minute 26.1, 2 tenths faster than Gasly. Stroll is across the line next to 1 minute 26.2. And then we have Seb Vettel coming across the line. Here he goes into third position with the fastest third sector. 1 minute 26.287, only 9 milliseconds slower than Lance Stroll. Albon crosses the line into sixth position. The Williams aren't looking particularly fast this weekend. And then we have, look at this, Mick Schumacher up into second position in the Haas, and Kevin Magnussen only up into sixth. So Schumacher going, a tenth and a half quicker than K-Mag. Looking good there, looking good indeed. For the Haas cars. And then who else have we got out on track? We've got the two Ferraris out on track. And yeah, Ferrari, they've had a season to forget, really. I think they've had the most pole positions without winning a world championship. So that just shows you how terrible their race strategy has been, because yeah, they've got the most pole positions and still haven't won the Constructors' Championship. So not great from Ferrari. But what can you do? All right, Lando Norris coming out on track and will be shortly followed by Daniel Ricciardo as well. Perez is out. Verstappen will be coming out very soon as well. And here they are then. We have the front runners coming out of the pits. Yeah, I mean, 50K is pretty ridiculous. I will be making like a thank you video and a channel update. So if you guys are interested, then that will be coming out probably next week or so. And then I also have another video in the works, which is F1 records that have been broken in this season. So that's how I know about the record that Ferrari have got the most world championships, most pole positions without winning a constructors championship. But yeah, I'll be coming out with those videos probably next week or so. And yeah, if you're interested, then go ahead and click on them. Time left in the session, 12 minutes and 10 seconds. And yeah, let's just move that along so it's a little bit more clear. Here we are then. So we have Leclerc starting his flying lap. In fact, let's go through with one of Leclerc's laps. So here he comes across the line, green through the first couple of sectors. Can he make it purple though? Because that is, since he's one of the first front runners, he will be going purple through most of the laps. Let's wait and see. So you can see through the corners, Leclerc is going faster, but then once we get to an acceleration zone or something, he's not actually the fastest, mainly because the Williams have already set their laps and the Williams have a lot of engine power. So that's why down the straights, Ferrari are just green. Through the corners, they are faster, of course, but yeah, through down the straight sections, they're green because the Williams are actually the fastest car in straight line. Let's have a quick look at the top speeds, but I think they're hitting around 330 Ks going down the straight there. Yeah, Williams 330 kilometers an hour. The rest of the drivers and teams going, well, we've got Aston Martin at 310, which is significantly slower than the rest. And then we have AlphaTauri and the Haas cars in the 320 kilometer per hour range. We've got the Red Bulls going up to 330 as well. But we'll have to wait and see how that goes then. All right. So Leclerc now comes across the line. All of his purple sectors that he set before previous have gone because drivers behind him have ended up setting faster sectors. So let's have a look at Sergio Perez's lap. Perez purple through quite a lot of the sectors. We'll wait and see what Verstappen can do behind him. But Perez was actually fastest in FP3, faster than Verstappen as well. And now he crosses the line to go 4/10 ahead of Charles Leclerc. That is a pretty big margin there from Sergio Perez. Very nicely done. So we'll wait and see how he can do that. Verstappen only green through the middle sector, actually slightly slower, pretty much matches Perez's middle sector, and then goes half a tenth faster in the first. We'll see how that manages in the third sector, but look at that. The amount of traffic Verstappen is going to have to deal with going through the next couple of corners is absolutely ridiculous. We'll see how the teams manage it and all the drivers, do they get out of the way, or will we have a grid penalty incoming? The only grid penalties that we do have this weekend are Daniel Ricciardo with a 3-place grid penalty because of his collision with Kevin Magnussen. But apart from that, nothing else. Nobody else has a grid penalty as of yet. We'll have to wait and see how else is happening. Can I? Oh, we've got a yellow flag on the circuit. What have we got? Oh, it's back to green flag. Never mind. Can I show you the top speeds? Yeah, there we are. These are the top speeds for all of the drivers and the teams. So there we are. All right. Have we got any team radio? No, we haven't. It seems like we only get no, we've got a bit of team radio. We got team radio from Pierre Gasly, who's currently in 14th.
I have a zero stock. I don't know. The thing is on the headrest, on the left of my helmet. Copy that.
Right. Yeah, Pierre Gasly just having some issues there with. I think it's like wherever his head goes in the actual car, the headrest. There's some sort of issue there that's like preventing him from being able to drive the car properly, and distracting him. So yeah, that's why he might be down there. A couple of 5 places behind Tsunoda. Usually Gasly is slightly faster than Tsunoda, but it's pretty even Steven between those two, and yeah, pretty surprising to see such a big gap. I guess that's the reason. What's the weather? The weather's completely dry. Track temperature is falling, so is air temperature, but 34 degrees is what it is right now. It might come down in the next couple of minutes, and yeah. How is Williams faster than Mercedes driving the stock Mercedes engine? It is because Williams have a less draggy car. So effectively, Williams can generate, say, like, I'm just going to say random numbers here, but say Williams will generate 100 kilos of downforce, and they'll only have like 10 points of drag or whatever. This is not like accurate in terms of like units and whatnot, but let's say they have 10 points of drag for 100 units of downforce. Mercedes, if they generate 100 units of downforce, they end up making like 15 points of drag. So Williams end up having a slightly more efficient car, because, well, actually, that's not exactly the case, because Williams will have like 80 points of downforce and 10 points of drag, whereas Mercedes opt to go for 100 points of downforce and 15 points of drag. So Williams have slightly less downforce, and that means they have slightly less drag, and less drag means you have a higher top speed. So that's what's happening there. All right. So after everyone has set their first runs of Q3, we've got Verstappen in first place, Perez in second, Sainz in third, Leclerc in fourth. Mercedes 7 to 8 tenths behind the front. That is extremely surprising there. And then Lando Norris putting it up into mix between the two Mercedes. That is great job from the British driver. We got British drivers in 5th, 6th, and 7th. And yeah. All right, Vettel currently in 16th position. So hopefully he can make it through into Q2. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah. Also, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. It definitely helps out the channel. And we are coming into the final race of the season, so you might as well. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that as well. I am streaming for tomorrow's race, and then I will be making I'll be making some videos in the off season as well. So there we are. All right, Gasly is back out on another lap presumably after his headrest is fixed. And he's done that lap, in fact, and he comes back into the pits now. But he puts himself 6 milliseconds behind Yuki Tsunoda, so it's extremely close actually. If we go from 9th place all the way to 16th place, that's only 5 tenths of a gap, and if we go from 4th place all the way to 16th place, it's just 1 second of a gap or so. 5th place to 16th place, only 1 second of a gap, so pretty close by our usual standards. But that is Red Bull is significantly ahead of the rest. I mean, they're 3 tenths faster than their competition. That is quite a big margin, and they haven't actually had that in qualifying for the past couple of races. They've been a bit of it hasn't been the most consistent qualifying conditions. We've had wet conditions here and there, but Red Bull not being the fastest car on the circuit in the past couple of weekends, and here they are re-establishing their dominance, and we'll wait and see what will happen there. All right, 4 minutes remain now. No drivers out on track. I presume they're all just getting ready to go out on their final laps now. But we'll wait and see what can happen. Hopefully, Vettel makes it through into Q2. We've got 4 minutes left of the session, and yeah. Also, I am trying to read chat. I remember like last stream, I wasn't reading chat that much. So if you guys do have any questions or just random stuff about F1 that you don't know, I might know that. So yeah, ask away in chat, and we'll wait and see what happens. Okie dokes then. So here they come. Actually, look at this. Every single driver just coming out in a queue. We've got Nicolas Latifi leading the way. The absolute GOAT of Abu Dhabi. I mean, he was the reason. He's got an assist to a world championship. Many people would say. So there are. Latifi leads the way. Then we have Seb Vettel in second position. Well, in second place in the queue, in the quali queue. Then we have Joe Verstappen. I think Verstappen's letting Stroll and Magnussen by. Stroll and Mick Schumacher by. Then we got Bottas. Actually, Bottas won the 2017 Abu Dhabi race. So Bottas has a bit of experience around here, how to go quick. We'll see how he puts that to use, but the Alfa Romeo car does not look particularly quick this weekend. Then we got Gasly, Norris, Perez, Hamilton, Russell. In fact, everyone coming out onto the circuit to set another lap, apart from the two Ferraris. I mean, the Ferraris have a little bit of time now if they come out in the next 10, 20 seconds or so. But otherwise, they looks like they're sitting, just staying in the garage. So, yeah. All right, then Vettel front of the QE, so he does not want to be held up by anyone. Doesn't want a yellow flag screwing over his final Q1 session. So we'll wait and see. In fact, let's just go. We'll just follow Vettel's lap on board. It's currently yellow sectors now because he's on an out lap. But as soon as he comes out that final corner, it should be going good. Let's have a look then. Let's follow Seb's lap. In fact, we've got the camera on him as well. So here he comes out the final corner, stays within track limits, accelerates down the straight into turn number 1 now, braking at the 70-meter mark, hits into fourth gear, and then gets a very nice exit indeed through turn number 2, all over the curbs, but the car surprisingly stable. And then he goes into turn number 5 now, hits those brakes at 100 meters, gets a very nice exit, late apex through that corner, and then nicely done. All right, so here he comes now down the straight, 1.2 kilometers, reaching around about 300. Oh, actually, let's have a look at Aston Martin's top speeds. Have they improved, or have they been as slow as they were before? Yeah, they have improved. Vettel up to 320 kilometers an hour. He improves through the first sector. And then now, oh, look at that purple coming out of turn number 7. Very nicely done. He's got a purple through there and then a yellow through the next couple of sectors. Don't know how that's exactly happened, but it has. And then through down turn number 9 and 10. Now we get to tight, twisty parts of the corners. And look at this. We've got a massive queue. We got Norris, Russell, Magnussen, and then Ocon, Tsunoda. Look, this queue is absolutely enormous. And Vettel's, here he comes now through turn number 14. He's got Ocon, Tsunoda, Alonso all ahead of him. And we'll wait and see who gets out of the way, and if he does get held up. Purple once again through that part of the track, and here comes Vettel now across the line into 5th position. Nicely done from Seb Vettel. All right, so Vettel now up into 5th. We'll wait and see where the rest of the drivers place now. So we have behind Vettel, we have Latifi. He crosses the line up into 14th position. Next up is Guan Yu Zhou. He goes into 9th. And then we have Mick Schumacher coming up next across the final corner. Stays within track limits. Nicely done there from the German on his final quali session for now. And into 10th place. Next we have Lance Stroll, Vettel's teammate, 2 green sectors from him, 3 green sectors into 12th place. Vettel just had an amazing lap, goes 0.2 faster than Stroll, all the way up into 5th position. Then we have Alex Albon across the line. He stays in 17th. Unfortunately, the Williams not having the performance to get out of Q1. Bottas is currently in 16th, stays in 16th. Then Hamilton improves. Oh, actually, Hamilton doesn't improve, but I think he backed out of his lap, to be honest. Yeah, so a green first sector, but then backed out after making a mistake. We got Lando Norris up into 5th position. Nice improvement there from the Briton. And then we have Russell now crossing line once again, doesn't improve. Looks like he backed out of it like Lewis Hamilton. K-Mag up into 14th. Nicely done. We got Verstappen coming into the pits, aborting his lap. There's no need to go to the end. Perez with a purple middle sector. And does he cross the line? He does cross the line, but does not improve. Then we have Fernando Alonso up into 15th place, just out the elimination zone. And then we have Esteban Ocon currently in 12th. But that has been Q1, guys. Vettel makes it through into Q2. And we have the drivers eliminated are K-Mag, Gasly, Bottas, Albon, and Latifi. So those drivers have been eliminated. Everyone else is back in. Everyone else is through into Q2. Lovely. All right. Well, if Vettel's in 6th in Q1, who knows? Maybe getting through into Q3. And if he's in 6th, then yeah, it's good position. If there's something was to happen at the front, but all 6 cars DNF'd, all 6 top cars DNF, Vettel could go on to get a race win. I mean, he's in the correct position. Let's say. So yeah. Oh yeah, Nicholas Latifi with his consistency once again. In 20th position. Absolute. Very well pointed out by I don't know how to say that name, Rafael Sistoko. Yeah. consistent until the end. Nicely done there from Nicholas Latifi. Yeah, Schumacher and Vettel giving it their all. Yeah, Schumacher goes, 5 places higher than K-Mag? But look at this. I mean, the gap is so close. Between Schumacher and Kevin Magnussen, there's 5 places, but only a tenth of a second. So, yeah, extremely close there at the rear of the field. In between the elimination zone and not. It could be just literally one exit that you get out of a corner can change the difference between if you get into Q2 or not. All right. Yeah, guys, remember to stay hydrated. I'm just gonna have a drink now, and then we'll get back to the commentary. All right. So, by the looks of it, Alpine are slower than McLaren. Well, they're slower than Lando Norris and on an equivalent pace as Daniel Ricciardo. But Lando Norris doing a pretty good performance up there. Up in 5th place once again. He was doing that in FP3 as well. He was in 6th place, and there was a Mercedes in 5th and 7th. So he's splitting the Mercedes. He's done that once again. Actually, well, this time he's gone ahead of both the Mercedes. I mean, admittedly, the Mercedes did back out of their laps because there was no need because they weren't going to get eliminated. But yeah, so Lando Norris up into 5th position. He'll be scoring some points for McLaren hopefully, and potentially getting them the points they need to win the to get 4th place in the constructors. Yeah. So I looked it up actually. It is a $6 million $6 million difference between 4th and 5th place in the constructors. So pretty big. Yeah. Oh, also another point is Vettel said he would consider a return to F1 if there was a seat that he get to, like, say if there was he would do a one-off return to F1. Say if like someone couldn't attend a race or something because they were ill or something like that, then Vettel would come back into the car and drive the car if it was Suzuka. So we have that to look forward to if that was to potentially happen. But yeah, I mean, also guys, if you aren't a Vettel fan, then I very much do apologize because I'm a Vettel fan. I think a lot of the people watching are Vettel fans, so I'm very much going to be focusing on Seb for the majority of this weekend. So I do apologize for that if you aren't particularly interested. But I mean, it is final race. I don't know exactly what else I would do. So also, I have no idea who I'm going to support. You guys who are Vettel fans, who are you going to support next season? I mean, maybe I might support one of the newcomers, or I might just be an impartial commentator watching. I guess that's quite good to be impartial when you're a commentator, but yeah. Seb for Red Bull Suzuka next year, yeah. Just Sergio Perez just gets ill or something, and then we have Max Verstappen versus Vettel in Suzuka. That would be brilliant. That would be brilliant. All right. Q2 beginning now very shortly. The drivers now just getting ready to come back out into the pit lane. It'll be 40 seconds I think till Q2 starts. So not long now, and then we will be underway. Vettel then switched to Russell. Yeah, I'll just keep supporting Daniel Ricciardo. Oh, yeah, Daniel Ricciardo as well, unfortunately, out of the season. I mean, he's a 3rd driver, I think, for Red Bull now. It's a bit ironic, actually. Daniel Ricciardo left Red Bull because he didn't want to be a number 2 driver, and then ended up going back to Red Bull as a number 3 driver. So, but what can you say? All right, Q2 has begun, and we have Russell and Hamilton out. impartial commentators are all over the place. I like throwing in some personal preferences as long as it's not at the expense of wishing others ill wish. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, yeah, having a passion for like supporting one driver can definitely increase like your how exciting the commentary is. Like, say if Vettel was to get a podium, I would be over the moon. Whereas say if like I don't know, Sonoda was to get a podium, like Sonoda of course will be rooting for him, but it won't be the same level of like excitedness. So I don't know. We'll have to see. But Hamilton and Russell are coming out early in Q2. I mean, let's have a look at what tires they're on. Maybe they're like going on to the mediums, but I don't see why they would be doing that. Yeah, they're going out on a used set of soft tires. So they're just setting a bit of a banker lap before they set the proper flying lap at the end of Q2. Because you might as well use your old soft tires, because once you've done 6 laps on those soft tires, there's not really much point in you're not really going to be using them in the race, so you might as well just do a couple more laps in quali and get them used. Who's the number 2 then? Sergio Perez is the number 2 at Red Bull. What do you mean Max went back to Red Bull? No, not Max. Daniel Ricciardo went back to Red Bull. Yeah, Ricardo took a reserve role at Red Bull. So actually, he's not a reserve driver or a test driver. He's a third driver, which I think means, say, if Perez, Verstappen, Tsunoda, or Nick De Vries next year were to get ill, then he would replace them for that weekend or something. But that would be his role, and he can also, I guess, he also like does FP1 sessions and stuff, and like can go into practice sessions and drive the car. But it won't be. But that's about it, really. So, yeah. Ooh, Anna A. Yeah, Anna A. I mean, I remember seeing Anna A long time back on our streams, but that's good to see that we still got viewers sticking around from all that time ago. Hamilton now 2 purple sectors. He goes, and let's see what he can do now, crossing the line very shortly through the middle sector. I mean, we can follow on board his lap. Whoops. Yeah, Hamilton basically purple everywhere, but it looks like George Russell is actually resetting some of those purple sectors and ending up going faster than Hamilton. So Hamilton goes around setting the purple sectors. George Russell comes through, turning those into green. But Hamilton now across the line, 1 minute 25.7. George Russell with a purple middle sector. Going through the final sector goes slightly slower than Hamilton, and we'll wait and see how he can do that, how he manages. So 1 minute 25.7 from Lewis Hamilton, 1 minute 25.3 from George Russell. Wow, 0.4 of a second between the two drivers. That is pretty massive. And both of them had pretty good laps. It wasn't like anyone made a mistake or anything. Russell just out and out faster in the second and third sectors. He went particularly slow through the first sector, in fact, but managed to hold it together for the rest of the sectors. So pretty interesting. All right, then we have now Vettel and Stroll on flying laps, and yeah, okie dokes. Actually, everyone else coming out onto the track as well now. Mick Schumacher, Yuki Tsunoda, Esteban Ocon, Zhou. Yeah, they'll all be starting their flying laps. The only people that have already completed the flying laps are the 2 Merc drivers. Everyone else either starting their flying laps. Oh, look at this. Vettel purple through the first sector. Oh my God, you love to see it. Look at this. Yeah, all right. You must have just got a very good exit out of the final corner then, if you went purple down the straight and then through turn number 1. But if you can carry that on, get pole position, I mean, I wouldn't mind. That's all I'm saying. Also, guys, I just have to do close the blinds in my room, otherwise I can't actually see my screen. So just give me a sec. All right, fix those blinds. And then here comes Vettel now. What's he done? Actually, Alonso takes away that fastest first sector. Tsunoda goes faster in the middle sector, which is extremely strange. And then here comes Vettel now across the line. Well, in fact, he's got Perez and Verstappen ahead of him, but purple through there as well. Interesting. Vettel, though, across the line into second place, faster than Hamilton and Russell, and just slower than Russell. But you've got to consider here, guys, that the Mercedes are on 6-lap-old soft tires, 7-lap-old soft tires when they did their laps. Vettel was on, I think, 4-lap-old or 3-lap-old tires. So, yeah, you got to add a little bit of pinch of salt there. But nevertheless, I mean, that is extremely quick from Seb Vettel. Ocon up into second place. He has fresher tires than Vettel as well. But here we are. We got Verstappen in 8th, Perez in, Verstappen, sorry, setting his lap right now. 8th on the leaderboard because he hasn't set a lap yet. And then Perez following closely behind him. We've got Sainz. All 4 of the remaining top cars setting their laps now. So, yeah, let's have a look. Leclerc goes top of the timings, then Sainz goes just ahead of him. Sainz pips him by 0.3 of a second. Norris goes faster than Leclerc. Once again, Norris has 6-lap fresher soft tyres than the Ferraris do. Ferraris on very old sets of softs. The 2 Red Bulls, though, they're on fresh sets of soft tyres. So here they come now through the 3rd sector. Their tyres very much overheating at this point. Verstappen goes through now turn number 15 and 16. Stays within track limits within both of them. So here he comes across the line now, 1 minute 24.8. And then Perez goes faster than Verstappen by 0.4 of a second. Wow. All of that time in the middle sector. Perez, look at this. What is going on here? We've got through the middle sector, Perez did a 30.0. Is it the middle sector is basically just all the straights. It's just the chicane, the straight, chicane, and straight again. I mean, let's have a look at the top speeds. Perez only goes 2 kilometers an hour faster than Verstappen down the straight, so it's not a top speed thing either. We've just got Perez going extremely quick through the middle sector. He must have nailed those corners, but yeah, brilliant job there from Sergio Perez. And yeah, what else can I really say? All right. We'll wait and see if Perez can end up getting pole position. I mean, this might be because of what happened last weekend. Perez was like, obviously they tried to switch over the positions between Verstappen and Perez, and Verstappen was like, no, I'm not having any of it. And Perez is just like, all right, well, if you're not going to give me the positions, I'm just going to go full send. Yeah. Also, guys, for you guys that don't know, it is a championship battle between Sainz and Leclerc in the drivers' championship. Both of them are on 290 points in the drivers, and we'll wait and see who ends up with the higher points. Well, whoever finishes the race higher tomorrow will end up taking that second place spot in the championship. So there we are. You're really fumbling my words today. But 6 minutes left of quali now, and we'll have all the drivers come back in. Oh, in fact, this is a bit strange. Mercedes going on an offset run plan. They're going to set their quali laps when everyone else isn't setting their quali laps, which is rather strange. We only really see Williams or some of the bottom teams do that, so they just have a free space. But Mercedes deciding this is the optimal strategy and going out to do their quali runs just in the middle of the session. Pretty strange. This is their quali runs on fresh sets of tyres as well. There's 5 minutes left of the session, so if they set this lap, come in, and then go back out, set another lap, come back in, it might be pretty close on timing, and they might not be able to even do another lap. But we'll have to wait and see. So let's follow Russell through his lap, and let's have a look how that's going. Oh, in fact, Hamilton's actually done most of his lap. So Hamilton, purple through a couple, green through most of it, crosses the line up into second place, goes slightly slower than Max Verstappen. So Mercedes picking up pace out of nowhere, seemingly. They were quite far back in Q1, but here they are back up closer to the Red Bulls. And we've got Max Verstappen, in fact, slower than Lewis Hamilton, which is not something that you hear very often in 2022. 2021, quite often. It was very much very close between those two drivers in 2021. But in 2022, Verstappen had a significant advantage. And yeah, don't know exactly what's happened there. I mean, he was 4 tenths slower than Perez in the middle sector, but it's not that Verstappen made a mistake. Perez just went 4 tenths faster, which is ridiculous, by the way, because he was 6 tenths faster than Hamilton just through the middle sector. So I don't know how Perez has done that. I mean, we must have to get on board at some point. Russell, though, crosses a line. He goes 2 tenths behind his teammate in fourth position. So we've got Red Bull, Mercedes, and then the Ferraris have only set laps on old tyres, so we'll wait and see what they can do on fresh sets. But Vettel currently in ninth, so he could make it through into Q2. But all the drivers now coming out with 3 minutes 52 left on the clock, so they'll have enough time for an outlap, get those tyres warmed up into the temperature range, and they'll be going for their final push laps in a couple of minutes. All right. So here they go now. Vettel and Stroll leading the way of the quali queue. They're going on quite quick outlaps actually compared to everyone else. The outlaps that Stroll and Vettel are setting, they are a bit quicker than the rest of all of the other outlaps that the other teams are going on. They're going quite slowly actually comparatively, but we'll wait and see. Also, Vettel just behind Stroll, so maybe there might be a bit of a tow going on, but I don't think he's going to get that much of a tow. Actually, Vettel slows down to give him a bit of breathing room between himself and Stroll. So here they go now. Stroll starts his lap, and then here comes Vettel as well. Let's follow Vettel's lap, in fact, because yeah, why not? We'll just turn this into a Vettel fan page for this weekend. Also, guys, if you haven't hit the like button for the stream, that would be brilliant if you did so. And if you haven't subscribed as well, that'd be wonderful as well. I'm shooting for tomorrow's race, and I will probably have a bit more energy than I do today, and also I'll tone down the Vettel fanboying as well. I'm not a fanboy. I'm just passionate. I don't know what I can really say. But Vettel purple through the first sector. That I'm just being passionate, guys. Just being passionate. So here he comes now. Oh, look at that purple through the chicane. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, his middle sector time, 36.5. In fact, faster than Lewis Hamilton's middle sector. That's all I've got to say. Vettel faster through the middle sector than Lewis Hamilton, and Vettel's in an Aston Martin. But yeah, I've seen Vettel's farewell message. It is yeah, it was a very nice video actually. But yeah, all right. So here comes Vettel now. Sergio Perez might cause a bit of traffic for him coming through the final corner. Hopefully he doesn't get blocked. But Vettel now comes out the final corner, gets a little bit of a toe off of Perez, and here he comes into fifth position. 1 minute 24.9 into the 24s in the Aston Martin. That is brilliant. Stroll, solid 4 tenths behind him. So Vettel done a nice job there. Back into fifth position. That is great to see. We got Leclerc now going fastest through the first sector. And yeah, drivers currently in the elimination zone are Zhou, Ocon, Alonso, and Ricciardo. And as I say that, we've got the position switching around. So let's go from here. We've got Ocon up into sixth position. We've got Tsunoda in ninth. All right, Leclerc looks like he's set a pretty decent lap. Nothing too special. No loads of purple sectors everywhere. But yeah, consistent from Charles Leclerc. We'll wait and see what he can do. Sainz only up into seventh. I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. We definitely thought the Ferraris would be a bit faster. And look at this, Perez goes slightly slower than Sergio Perez. And Sainz improves his lap time up into third position as well. So we very much do have a six-way battle on our hands for pole position. Maybe George Russell's slightly out of it, so at least 5-way battle for pole position. Yeah. So that is that. Well, let's see. Has everyone else crossed the line? By the looks of it, everyone has. Verstappen improves his lap time. So before he was 4 tenths behind Perez, now he's only 2 tenths behind, but still not managed to actually go faster than him. So there we are. And also Perez as well. He actually didn't improve in any sectors on his previous lap. He just peaked on his last lap. He somehow set an absolutely ridiculous lap time, and through the middle sector as well. He couldn't match his middle sector that he did before. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how Perez pulled off that lap, but hopefully he can do it one more time for Q3. But that has been Q2 done, and we've got Vettel through into Q3, sorry, in 8th position. Nicely done there from Vettel. And then we've got Alonso, Tsunoda, Schumacher, Stroll, and Joe been eliminated from quali. Unfortunately, and then we'll be going for the top 10 shootout very shortly. Yeah. Oh, and Ricardo as well. Ricardo makes it through into Q3 on his at least final race in Formula One for the foreseeable future. That's a lot of Fs. Final race in Formula One for the foreseeable future. That's actually, I don't know how many Fs that is, but like 5 or 6. Nevertheless, yeah, it's a qualifying session to look forward to. That's all I can say. Because we've got a very tight battle up there at the front. I mean, the top 4 split by 2 tenths of a second. And then if Russell picks up the pace a bit, we could be on our way for a 6-way battle for pole position. All of the drivers extremely close, and it's all been surprising. We never expected it, but here they are, setting fast sector times and fast lap times. Yeah. All right, so Q3 will be underway, I think, in like 3-4 minutes now. So don't go anywhere. We will be live for that as well. All right, Q3, there we go. Yep, Hamilton will be trying to win this race because, of course, he's got that record where he's won a race in every single season of his career consecutively. Consecutively because he's been in Formula One for every single season since his debut. But Hamilton, doing a good job keeping all those wins, being very consistent. But now he's just got to maybe hope for a bit of luck as well, and a good quali position today to maybe seal the deal and get that one extra win that he needs to keep his record going for that. And also another thing is that Schumacher, Senna, none of them have this record. It's just Hamilton, because of course he was in very strange circumstances where as a rookie he just got placed straight into a top team. It's not very often we see that. We've seen Leclerc start off in Sauber, we had Sainz start off in Toro Rosso, Verstappen also started off there, Perez has been doing a lot of midfield running, Vettel started off in Toro Rosso, Russell was in the Williams, Norris has been in McLaren the whole time. But yeah, all of these drivers that are currently in the top teams, they've all been in a lower performance category. And so that same can be said for Schumacher and Senna. But Hamilton, when he started off in Formula One 2007, he ended up he started off this with a top team with McLaren, and yeah, so that's why he's got that record, and we'll see if he can continue. Alrighty then. Why are there so many rumors about Norris and Red Bull talking? Well, to be honest, I actually haven't heard any of these rumors. So, yeah. But to be honest, I don't think Red Bull should be looking for another driver, because they've got Verstappen, of course, and they're not going to be replacing a number 1 driver. And Perez looks to be doing fine. Of course, they had the one little disagreement, but I think they'll get past that. To be honest, yeah. How many races would your optimal season have? What I'd probably say maybe 20 races. But of course, like all of those races would probably have to be like evenly distributed across the world. Like have some in Europe, have some in Asia, have some in like South America, in North America, Africa, and of course Australia as well. Like we could have Malaysia. Um, there are so many good tracks that we just don't go to anymore. We don't go to Hockenheim or the Nurburgring. So I'd love to see an F1 calendar full of like historic circuits. It's yeah, and probably going over like 20 races just becomes pretty rough, especially for the teams. I mean, even thinking about me as a commentator, I don't particularly have to do much. Well, like I'm basically just commentating. I have to travel across the world and stuff. But still, it occupies like half of the weekends of the entire year because there's 50 weekends in a year. So if we have like 24 races, 25 races, um, that's like half of every single weekend of the year just gone in like F1 commentary. So and you've got to imagine all of the mechanics are traveling across the world constantly for all of this stuff. So yeah, there should probably be a limit, and 25 or whatever the FIA have set is a bit ridiculous to be honest. So there we are. Um, I mean, we could probably make an ideal F1 calendar. Um, but yeah, we could probably go to South Africa. Um, I mean, there are good race circuits around everywhere in F1, and the FIA they just need to be bribed with a bit of money to get the Grade One certification because there is no way that the Saudi Arabia racetrack has actually got like proper safety measures compared to all of the other ones. Like, of course, they do have all of the barriers and stuff, and that's fair enough. But it does seem pretty precarious how quickly they got all of that done. And also the other thing was I think it was 2020 we were going to race in Vietnam. They built an entire F1 circuit, um, and they didn't even get a single race there. So yeah, pretty unfortunate that the Vietnam Grand Prix just got completely cancelled, and then we never got to actually race there. They built an entire circuit; it was approved by the FIA and everything, but no races there. So is China fully finished, or is there no more racing? I mean, I don't know. I think it all depends on it depends on all the contracts that they have with the Formula One like department. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but the race organizers and stuff. Um, and yeah. All right. So we Q3 has begun. We got the two Mercedes, the two Ferraris out on track. Um, not in India, please. I mean, having a race in India would be pretty cool. Um, I mean, Vettel's got that record of winning every single race in India, so I'd only want the Indian Grand Prix to come back if Vettel could like come back as well and just keep that record of every single, um, winning every single Indian Grand Prix. But yeah, I mean, the racetrack in India is pretty good. Yeah. All right. Well, there's lots of racetracks that we could discuss, and which one should go on the calendar, which one shouldn't. Um, when did you start watching F1? I started watching F1 in 2018 Spa. That was the first race that I watched. Yeah, that was Vettel taking that win. I mean, that race was apparently pretty boring. I looked up I looked up like a race review later, and apparently that race was like one of the most boring races ever. But it was the first race that I watched of Formula One, so there we are. All right then. So here we go then. MotoGP is back in India. Okay, cool. Great listening to you while driving. Cannot watch on TV. Well, I mean, how can you say great listening to you while driving, cannot watch on TV? That means you must be typing and driving. That is not okay, bro. Um, yeah. All right. So back to quali. Why are we not racing in Qatar? Because I think that there was only like a one-off race contract in Qatar because we didn't have enough races last year or something. But we definitely did have enough races last year. Not sure. Not sure. But anyway, back to quali. We have Leclerc on a flying lap. So is Carlos Sainz. Sainz actually faster than Leclerc through the first sector. Let's have a look then. All the top teams out. I think we're gonna follow. We'll follow Charles Leclerc's lap so far. So Leclerc just setting purple sectors here and there. Well, it's in fact setting every single sector to be purple, and then Carlos Sainz behind him just taking all of those purple sectors away from him. To be honest, because look at this, Sainz just purple through everywhere. Pretty ridiculous, if I don't say so myself. So Sainz doing a very good job. We'll see what Sainz ends up doing. But looking at this now, Leclerc starting to set the purple sectors, and that Sainz can't. So Leclerc conserved his tyres a bit, maybe in sector 1 and 2, and then through the third sector, when your tyres really start to overheat, he had a bit more tyre life in those tyres, and was able to manage that, extract that performance. But yeah, the third sector wasn't enough. Sainz was faster in the first two, and Sainz goes up into first position, 62 milliseconds faster than Charles Leclerc. Next across the line is Esteban Ocon. He's into fifth position. Both Mercedes have crossed the lines. They're in 1 minute 24.6, 1 minute 24.6 from both of them, 4/10 behind the Ferraris. And then we have the Red Bull. So here comes Sergio Perez. Let's have a look at this. Green sectors, purple sectors. But let's see where does he come. He comes second place, 35 milliseconds behind Carlos Sainz. So it is so close between those two. Top three split by 62 milliseconds. Let's have a look. Max Verstappen, he's got purple sectors here and there, green sectors throughout, and coming now across the line. I mean, look at these final couple of tight, twisty corners. Verstappen has nailed them and crosses the line, goes 3/10 faster than Carlos Sainz. Wow. Don't know what to say, but he has done that very nicely. A very comfortable gap there as well. I mean, we thought maybe Sergio Perez would be able to get that performance out, but he hasn't been able to. And also another thing to point out is that the teams, they have access to their telemetry, of course, and like they kind of have like a bit of information on what the other drivers are doing in terms of braking, where they're turning and whatnot. And Perez, in fact, set a 1 minute 36.0 going through the middle sector. That's the middle sector he absolutely nailed, and like that's how he got 3-4 tenths ahead of Verstappen in the previous quali session. The teams went through all of that data. So Verstappen now 36.1 through the middle sector. Perez as well 36.1 through the middle sector. So all of these basically the teams are very good at analyzing the data, because within like the 5-6 minutes between Q1 has ended and Q3 has begun, they managed to tell Verstappen, Sainz, Perez, Leclerc how to drive the middle sector and to end up going quickly through there. And just through that little bit of like Perez, I think he must have done it by accident, maybe, or I'm not sure. I mean, probably not by accident, but he extracted a bit of performance the other drivers didn't know that was there. Like they didn't know, okay, maybe if you go over this curb here, then you get a slight bit more extra grip compared to this curb. And Perez, 36.0 from him once again, so consistent. And the other drivers catching up significantly through the middle sector, because obviously they did something that Perez did before. Let's have a look at the top speeds. All right, we've got Vettel, in fact, on a lap now. So let's follow Vettel's lap as he goes through. Let's have a quick look at the top speeds. We have top speeds. Drivers hitting 330 really. The Red Bulls are 5 kilometers an hour faster than the Ferraris down the straights. And yeah, the Ferraris, Mercedes pretty much identical. Maybe a bit of a difference there between Hamilton's car because he's got a bit more downforce. But apart from that, everyone doing all right. And Aston Martin 5k slower than the Ferrari. So Aston Martin 10 kilometers an hour slower down the straights compared to the Red Bulls. And And yeah, I mean, what can you say? I guess that's the difference between the top team and the middle team. But Vettel through into Q3 now, green sectors throughout. Of course, it is first lap through in Q3, so everything will be green nevertheless. But yeah. Why didn't Norris abort his lap? To be honest, I'm not sure because his sector times look pretty good. So it might not be aborted. Maybe he exceeded track limits. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, Vettel crossed the line up into seventh position. Sorry, up in seventh position and 2 tenths behind the front runners. So unfortunately, Vettel's I mean his pace can only take him so far. The actual car itself has to be pretty fast as well, and yeah. All right. 3 minutes remaining of Q2 now. Q3, sorry. And we have got all the drivers now just coming back on their final runs of Q3. Doesn't look like Vettel will be doing another lap. Neither will Ricciardo by the looks of it because they didn't have another set of Pirelli soft tires because usually once you get because I don't think Aston Martin were actually expecting to make it through into Q3. So they already used up all the soft tires that they had from Pirelli and don't have any fresh ones left. They get one extra set from Pirelli, which they get for going through into Q3. But of course, they didn't go through. So they've used those one set of tires and they don't have any extra left. So Vettel will be. I think that's it for Vettel into seventh position. All right. Oh yeah, the track in South Korea as well. I mean, there are so many good circuits around the world. We'd probably have to do like a 2 week calendar. So there'd be like not a 2 week calendar, a 2 year calendar. So every 2 years the calendar rotates. So you get to go to every single circuit, and then in 2 years' time you'll go back to the same circuit because there are just so many good circuits around the world. And it is of course a world championship. So ideally you should be hitting every single continent. And we currently don't go to Africa. So yeah. All right, but 2 minutes remaining of the session. Leclerc leading the way. Then behind him are Ocon, Norris, Ricciardo, and then Sainz. Then we have the 2 Red Bulls and the 2 Mercedes going right at the end. Track temperatures have dropped 2 degrees, and air temperature I think has dropped 2 degrees as well. I'm not sure about the air temperature, but track temperature's down 2 degrees. That will help with some of the overheating, and yeah. Also, Lil Guy, thank you for all of the questions. They're very good questions. Um, yeah. Oh yeah, and also Kiez and Multi Ninja, just being great mods. I don't know. Yeah, I mean the stream would be very difficult without them because I wouldn't be able to commentate and also moderate chat. So Kiez and Multi Ninja very much is appreciated. All right, so we have Charles Leclerc purple through the chicane, purple on the exit of the hairpin. Then let's see what Carlos Sainz is doing behind him. We have Carlos Sainz not actually improving that much. Pretty strange. Both Ferrari drivers through the first sector going slightly slower than before. Maybe they're trying to conserve their tires for the third sector, but we will just have to wait and see. Is F1 Gamer reading chat? I mean, I think I am because I've just replied to that message. See what I mean? But we got Verstappen actually not improving through any of the first sector, really. He goes purple just after the start-finish line, but bit strange there. We'll wait and see, though. We've got Hamilton purple through the first sector, and then Verstappen purple through the middle sector. Sainz, Leclerc purple through the final sector. He goes across the line and a 10th behind Verstappen. Then next across the line, we have Ocon, Norris cross the line, 7th and 8th, Vettel down into 9th, Ricciardo into 10th. But here now comes Carlos Sainz. He improves, but stays in third position. Next up, we have Max Verstappen. There's no need for him to improve, really. He's just had an amazing lap all around. Let's see what he does then. He comes across the line, goes a 10th faster, and seals a deal. We got Perez goes quicker than Leclerc, so it's a Red Bull 1-2 unless Hamilton and Russell have anything that they can do about it. So Hamilton green for most part of the track. Russell once again green for most of it. Here they come now across the line. Lewis Hamilton across his line into 5th position, and then George Russell crosses line into 6th position. 3 milliseconds between the two Mercedes drivers. Extremely close there. But that has been qualifying, guys. And we have Verstappen and Perez in 1st and 2nd with a front row lockout. We got Ferrari in 3rd and 4th with a Ferrari 2nd row lockout, and then Mercedes in 5th and 6th with a Mercedes 3rd row lockout. Yeah, F1 is very Eurocentric. It would be great. Yeah, I mean, you don't definitely have to come along for the Europe races, because it is definitely like 1 a.m. in Australia when you do come on to like be a mod. But that has been qualifying, guys. We have not Vettel in pole position, Max Verstappen in pole position, and Sergio Perez in 2nd. So it's just Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, and then we have Norris ahead of Ocon by 0.5 of a second, and then we have Vettel in 9th and Ricciardo in 10th. What time UK do I start the stream tomorrow? Well, I will just have to check. Because right, I start the stream tomorrow at 12:40. That's when I start the stream tomorrow. So there we are. Yeah. I mean, out of 10, I'd probably just say 10. Vettel very much is my favorite driver, the only driver that I really support. So yeah. I don't know, 9 or 10. 9 probably. I'm not particularly sure. Don't think you can really quantify sadness as a number, but there we are. All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming along. I am streaming for tomorrow's race, so yeah, be sure to tune into that. If you have enjoyed the stream, hit the like button, subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. Yeah, it's been a pleasure commentating to you guys, and have a nice morning, afternoon, evening, night, or day, depending on where you are in the world. And I will see you tomorrow. Cheers, fellas.